Hello, hello, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Have you stepped on the stage like this before? Have you seen this beautiful crowd?
I mean, I have been on a big stage, but not only with women, so I'm super excited and love the conversations.
And we're so happy that you could join us today. So for people that don't know you and the work that you do, would you like to just briefly introduce yourself?
Yes, so I'm Arba. I'm a Swedish representative in the European Parliament, and my task is to make sure that Europe leads on tech and AI, and I am so-called the chief negotiator in Brussels in the European Parliament to sort of like fix the AI Act, so the European AI rules.
So quite a simple task, right? Fix the AI Act, make Europe be a representative. But for anyone that doesn't know what is the AI Act and what does it mean for all of us here?
Yeah, so the AI Act is the world's first comprehensive rule book on AI, and it's European. We are supposed to have the same rules across the EU, and it has a risk-based approach. So, for example, if you are, mass surveillance, except from some exceptions for the police, is forbidden. Social scoring, like they do in China, is forbidden in Europe. That has already entered into force. And then we have rules, compliance rules, when you are using and developing high-risk AI, for example, AI in vehicles. And then you have transparency rules, like you have to show that when you have more limited risk, which means like chatbots in customer service, or if you, as a customer, see an AI image or video, or if you're talking to a human being, that has to be transparent. And those rules will come into force now in August. And then if you have minimal risk, then you don't have any obligations. So it's sort of like different stages of rules, the more safety measure you have to take. So far, so good. But the problem has been that so many startups in Europe have been signaling to us that, oh my God, we don't understand, are we high risk or not? Do we have to do these provisions or not? And basically, we need to avoid to make the same mistakes that we did with the GDPR, which has a good intention, but in practice have been hindering usage of data and innovation. So it's more like now learning of our mistakes in Europe.
Yep. And you said it's coming into place in August, at least for some of the regulations. So what is one concrete action that companies and policymakers should take together with this coming into effect?
So together we need to talk better with each other, basically, because what's happening now is that last summer I was the first European parliamentarian, and the Swedish Prime Minister, Ulf Kristersson, was the first Prime Minister of Europe. We went to Brussels last summer and said, okay, we need to pause the implementation of the high-risk measures of the AI Act because there has been so much uncertainty of it. And so many startups in Sweden and in Europe were signaling and saying, we don't understand how we're going to implement these rules, and there has to be clarity. So what happened now in the autumn was that it has been proposed that we're going to pause these rules and also clarify the overlaps so that companies are not regulated twice or three times for the same things. And so that it's not about, doing this for American tech companies. It's about doing this for Swedish startups, because the American tech giants already have compliance departments to understand the rules. But a Swedish startup do not have that money to, understand 200 pages of paperwork. Instead, they need to put that time in competing with an American and Chinese competitor. So we're going to try to, simplify and to clarify, because this is about trust. If Europe is going to lead in this AI era, which we have been falling behind, is about that our rules has to be trustable. It has to be trustable for investors, for the users, consumers, for the entrepreneurs, so that the rest of the world can follow our rule books, and that we are not following the Chinese rule books or the American non-lacking rule books, you know? That is what it's about. That's why it's important that these rules are long-term.
Yeah.
And what companies need to do now, I mean, be visible in Brussels, because what I see is that in Sweden, we are leading now this tech revolution. I mean, we have the most AI investments after the US and China. It's Sweden and the UK that is leading. We have one of the best capital markets in the world. We have the best unicorns. You know, we are producing unicorns here in Stockholm, second best after Silicon Valley. We have the best possibilities right now, and that voice, what's going on here in Stockholm, that has to be more heard in Brussels, because most of the countries in the EU are not as front edge when it comes to tech as we are. And for me, I want Sweden and Europe to lead this. And we need to make the best possible business environment, regulations for entrepreneurs, our entrepreneurs to thrive, because now is the moment of time, you know, to do it. And people in the future will talk about this time when we were living it, because what's going on now is like when the electricity came or when internet came, and Sweden was very good in, you know, leading in this innovation. Now we need to prepare for the next steps in this innovation cluster that is coming.
Yeah, and there's a lot of Swedish startups that are sitting in front of us right now. So if they're sitting here and they're thinking, what can I do tomorrow to get started, to get ahead of it? What would you recommend that they would start doing tomorrow?
You mean as an entrepreneur?
As an entrepreneur.
I mean, start building as fast as you can. I mean, there are so many AI tools there, and start being creative. And you know, you probably will not succeed with your first idea, but second or third or even seventh idea. And this is what is the Swedish success, that we are so creative and innovative and tech-friendly. And so build, and then policymakers and legislators like me will do our utmost to make sure that the business climate and so that we can make your life easier. Because this is not about, you know, techie things. This is about the future. This is about the welfare of Sweden and Europe. I mean, this is the most important future issue we have, because we need to create the jobs here. We need to make sure the economy is built here, so that our kids want to study here and not in Shenzhen or Silicon Valley. I mean, it's a global competitiveness that is like super harsh right now. And if we do not take that lesson, that we are hiring the AI literacy in Sweden and in Europe, that we are not making, you know, better regulations that are smart and easier to follow, that we are not boosting investments in Europe, then China and the US will win, and we will become poorer. So I see this as a critical future issue, that AI needs to be adopted and used in a better way in the welfare system, in our businesses. And the best way we can do is that all of you here, especially all women here in the room, I mean, we have to be edgy and seize this, that we're living in the moment of history where it has never been easier to start a business, to be creative. Even if there are bad things going on in the world now, the conditions are perfect. And I think all of you should really try to build a business and a startup. And this is the big, you know, discussion finally now in Brussels, in the EU, that how can we boost European resilience, European competitors, European startups. And it's here in Sweden who are, you know, we are leading this, and we need to make sure that Europe leads this, and that we are leading Europe.
I think I see a lot of pride of the Swedish
Yes,
ecosystem, because
I'm so proud.
there's been a bit of talk about, you know, are the Nordics and is Sweden still really ahead, or are they lagging behind? And there's been some people saying they're riding on, you know, the old sort of like great success that they had beforehand. But I can hear from you as well that you are very, very clear that Sweden is still leading in Europe. So what's your approach in how does Sweden pair up against the rest of Europe?
I mean, we are leading in Europe. I see it every day in Brussels, how much Stockholm is like boiling with creativity and startups and investments and ideas. This is not what I see in other European countries, honestly. So we need to have a better confidence in this country. And I also think, I mean, in Europe, we have great startups. We have functional democracies. We have a unity, which, you know, we're fighting back against Russia and Trump and, you know, authoritarian regime. We're keeping together. And, you know, we need to have a better confidence in Europe that we have to make this, you know, because threats will always come. We see threats all the time that is challenging our democracies, our safety, our freedom. But if we keep together, believe in each other, cooperate, and actually do everything we can right now to make European entrepreneurs to thrive in Europe, stay in Europe, build in Europe, then really this is, I mean, we're going to win this. But we need to believe in this. And this is my goal, that we have to win this race against, you know, US and China. And I think entrepreneurs, you know, go for it. All women here, I mean, everybody's talking about tech bros in Stockholm, but look at this room.
Look here, there's a lot of us loud and clear.
Jeez. The women in tech community in Sweden, in Stockholm, I mean, you've been doing this for 12 years now, gathering thousands of, you know, tech-hungry women. I think that there is a lot of potential here, and to all companies out there, hire more women, because then you will see your companies thrive. You know, we have statistics on that.
Yeah.
And we need to make it easier for women to start and scale companies. So, yeah.
I love how much enthusiasm is coming, and you know how you are genuinely want to lift up Sweden, want to lift up Europe, and just from speaking to you, I'm feeling a lot more optimistic about the future, and I think, as well as you said, there's so many tools out there that we can just get started tomorrow. So, as we close the day, what is one piece of advice you would give to everyone in this room that's working in or around tech right now?
I would say that don't lose this opportunity that we are in right now to be in a tech company or start your own business, and also, like, for me as a woman working in Brussels, you know, a lot of old men out there all the time. I usually think, like, you know, if I were a man, what would I do? And then I do it, you know. I never hesitate. I just, you know, go for it. And I think that we women have to support each other, and also all men needs to also have more women, you know, in the tech companies, because if we're going to win this race globally, we need to have more women thriving in our companies, starting a business, being, you know, you don't have to be engineer, but, you know, be part of this revolution that is going on. And yeah, and I think that everything starts with an idea, and if you really work hard, you can make it in Sweden, you can make it in Europe.
Amazing. This is an incredible line to end on.
Thanks.
I am feeling very, very enthusiastic and very hyped up. So I just want to say a huge thank you for being with us today, Arba. Give her a big round of applause. Thank you so much, Arba.
Thank you. Thank you.